Hey there, welcome back to Arms Trade Tycoon. We're on episode 10. This is turning into quite the series. Today, let's build a Cromwell. I have access to the heavy Cromwell, and I haven't built one yet. I have seen and heard your comments regarding, hey, show us what the contracts are doing, show us that you're making money. Yes, I will do that this episode as well. Currently, one project in review. This is the Medium Valentine. This is contract 433. It really adds up. And what they're seeking is the Medium Valentine, at least that's what I've pitched them. I have a very high success score, so I think I'll be able to get the contract. They want 53 tanks. I'm going to be making 4 million from that, so I think I have... Have I already started production? No, not yet. Let's get that going. I very much doubt that a competitor is going to beat that level, so that should not be that much of a deal. I have until... Oh, sorry, that's the contract deadline in review. I was going, what? I have 5 days to build all these tanks? No. I'm going to be fine. They want 53, so we're going to go 26 and 27. It's going to take 68 days and 70 days. And let's already restock on those materials to make sure I keep my stock up. I got 103k out of 367. So I think we'll be fine for a while. Let's get some stock for T-34s. Those still sell best. I'm going to say I want 50 for those. Maybe some for that improved links. 25. And maybe some for the vehicle that I was just building. The Medium Valentine. 51. I'm going to order this from Oceania. I find this to be a good middle ground. It doesn't take forever to build or to get those shipments. However, it is not the cheapest. I typically pick Oceania because it's nicely middle ground. Europe is typically twice as expensive as Oceania. Asia, decent, but it takes longer to get here. Then we have Middle East, 722. Africa is only 491. However, low reliability. For now, that's fine. I don't need these materials in a hurry, so they can take some time getting here. Now, as that is happening, let's have a look onto that Cromwell. The Heavy Cromwell version 1 Mark 1. This one, I'm not really sure what to do with. I am not really sure what to do with it. I think it is considered not terribly heavy. If you start adding an engine, a turret, and tracks, this can pretty easily balloon to about 25 tons. Given the role that most nations seek, maybe we can make it an old a multi-purpose tank? Because the rest of them are kind of waning in interest. Let's see. Yeah, I can go up to 28 tons. Maybe we can make that happen. What they desire is cross-country speed, decent operational range, some good kinetic pen, good accuracy, as well as some fairly decent crew performance. Okay, so I'm going to go for this multi-purpose tank, which is adopted by quite a few nations. I'm not sure I have contacts with all of those nations, so... that might be something else to look into. Let's make a clone of this vehicle. And hopefully I can make this thing not terribly expensive, man-hour-wise. Otherwise, this is going to cost me a lot of time to build. And as such, also a lot of... well, a lot of resources. Time, money, and resources. Okay. Type of riveted assembly. I'm going to say I want this to be a multi-purpose tank. And I don't think they really care about that. They do care about crew comfort. Sorry, no, they don't care about crew comfort. They care about crew safety. Which is something that you are not getting with the worser one. The worser one. Good lord, the worse one. So I guess it's gonna have to... yeah. You're not getting as bad crew safety, but it's really not doing you any favors. Okay, what else? Crew internal communication is already good enough. Crew awareness, however, is not. That falls under the hatch as well as the optics. So we'll look into that. This is mostly going to determine how many commanders and or drivers you need. I have access to the WS number 29. I can go back to the number 19. And that's going to give me less crew comfort. Crew comfort is not something I care about. Crew awareness is. This, however, does not really do a whole lot. It does crew comm internal. This is actually better because it improves crew comm internal and crew awareness. So we're getting 159 for that. Crew safety, not as good, but hey, this doesn't do anything for crew safety anyway. The beam and headlights, that's definitely going to push crew awareness up. I'm going to get the 16 here. That'll push me to over what I need for the crew performance. Mobility, however, is worse because your transportability is pretty awful with these things. It takes a -6. That's not really what I want. Over here, I might be able to find a happy medium because I came from this. And that was pretty close. I just dropped 20 points. And I didn't gain as much there. See, we're very, very close here. Crew safety can definitely be improved. Mobility and transportability. Operational range can easily be improved. Transportability, yeah, tricky. What about the diffuser headlights? It's going to not do as much for crew safety. No, that's not good enough. Carbide. No. I'm trying to get that mobility in order. And it's proving to be a little tricky. I think this might be the closest thing. Those Mark 5s. Because the Mark 6, you're over here, but you're under there by a substantial margin. So that's a +8 -20. This is a... well, this is the opposite direction. But crew safety and operational range can still be improved. Yeah, okay, let's take this. The hatch. This is where we can probably put some work in on the crew escape levels, as well as operational range. The large hatch is going to increase operational range, so we're pushing that. As for the visibility, that is not part of the hatch. Additional ammo? They didn't say anything about needing additional ammo. Angled cooling. This is where we can push operational range again. And at the moment, I think I'm getting the best of the picture here. I'm getting a 13. We can get side thickness improved. They don't really care about side thickness presently, so let's not give them any ideas. So I'm just going to look into operational range. Looks to be the best there. Okay, we are sticking with the angled cooling flap. Next, we have additional ammo stowage, or additional fuel stowage. This is going to give me a lot of range at the expense of crew safety. Crew safety isn't the best as is, so I'm not going to add this. Because I can pretty easily fix that with the expendable called fuel. Shouldn't be an issue. Over here we got the decrementally hardened steel. That'll make this thing a bit safer. Although they don't really care about it, but it's not something I can change. So there's one. That is one of the first parts. How are we going to drive this thing? I have access to the Bedford V12. I think that'll prove to be a bit big for this vehicle. But I could be wrong there. This thing can drive 42 tons. That's a lot of power. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if it's enough. No, hold on. Yeah, see, cross-country speed is very bad. I can make a cross-country version of the Bedford. Because I can definitely push that mobility up. So let's make a cross-country version of this thing. Focus on cross-country driving. And potentially with that operational range as well. What are we getting? We are getting the radiator that gives me additional operational range. I'm currently looking at 12. This is going to add crew comfort. Terribly sorry to say, but that is not my priority here. They care about crew safety and crew awareness. They don't strictly care about how the crew feels. Crew comfort, not very important. So, in that case, this would be an improvement. It's only 1 kilogram less, so we're saving some weight. This is going to give you operational range increase to 13. You're never going to get higher than 20 with this, I think. Geared brakes. We are looking again for operational range, but that's not something you can find in the brakes. So, potentially, we can get some defense value from stealth points. And, well, man hours aren't really that important. Over here, it's agility, it's obstacle trench width. It's mostly stats that we don't really influence that badly. Next, the heavy flywheel. Not really that important for this particular vehicle, because it doesn't impact the stats as much. The large intake carburetor. This is going to make my road speed worse, but improves cross-country. This improves cross-country. No, this improves road at the expense of cross. This improves cross at the expense of not road speed, but power unit stability, the repairability. I'm thinking this is actually going to be doing me a whole lot of favors. So let's pick that. And then for the gearbox, we're going to be getting cross-country speed a -12, which is pretty bad. Road speed is good enough, but I want more cross-country speed. That's what this tank is for. And that's what this engine is for. It's going to come at the expense of agility, whatever. So this is the cross-country version of this engine. And let's tell the engineers to get to work on that. Alright, back to the design. On to the next part. How are we going to put this thing into the field? We can get access to the Sphinx. And with the Sphinx, we're getting... pretty shit transportability. I'm not really sure if that's going to be something we could influence that much with the components from the Sphinx. I don't like the cross-country speed. Not one bit. 35 is bad. I wonder if it has to do with the fact that there is no crew yet. Just give me one of these. I want to quickly fix up the rest of the parts so I can fit in some crew. Because once we have a driver, maybe that whole stat changes. It does. And boom, we're beyond what I need. Okay, so that means that these Sphinx tracks, they're pretty decent. Can I make them cheaper? Crew requirement only 1. And it's going to make operational range a little worse, but don't worry about that. Got you covered. I can push another 20% with stabilized fuel, or 35% with interceptor fuel. So we're way beyond that. Excellent. So I don't need to change the Sphinx tracks that much. That's good. The turret is something that they don't really care about. They don't really care about survivability of this thing. They don't really seem to mind what sort of gun goes in there, so long as it does a whole lot of damage. They're they're pretty simple in that regard. That means I can make it a light turret to save on weight and to potentially save as much manpower hours as possible. So if it's an older turret, I guess they won't mind. See, this thing has a 995 stat. This thing has a 987 for 2500 weight versus 2800. So we're saving some time and weight there, but especially we're saving about 1,000 man hours on that turret. This is going to give me the ability to to add the gun. And I'm still not getting up to the modern gun that I have researched fairly recently. Because I think I unlocked a recent fast or high rate of fire weapon, but I'm not seeing it. Doesn't really matter though, because as long as you give this thing enough kinetic pen and damage and accuracy, they'll be happy. 507. That's 4,000 man hours though. Let's push the middle one, the V2. Kinetic pen isn't as good, damage isn't as good, accuracy isn't as good. Yeah, but that's without a crew member. Push this. Get a commander involved. Oh, the driver's very multitasky. What can I use the driver for? I can split him to a driver mechanic, I guess. So we're going to be putting 2 points there, 2 points there. The driver is going to be multitasking. The commander is not. We're going to need a full gunner. We're going to need a full loader and a full mechanic. Mechanic goes here. Loader goes there. Stats on the tank. Kinetic pen, not good enough. Damage, not good enough. Accuracy, not good enough. Crew comfort or crew performance is pretty terrible. Crew awareness, not good enough. Blocked ports because of the crew limit. Okay. What else is bad? The crew safety. What is making it worse? Blocked path. Okay, so maybe I need to change the turret on here. Because this core is pretty bad. I can offset the firepower score easily by just giving them that high-end APCR shell. And that fixes that. I can get additional damage by picking the high damage APCR shells or the increased payload shells. Accuracy is not something I can easily fix, but hey, I'm already kind of fixing that stat. I need to fix it a little higher, though. And that's something I can't really do. So I think we're going to be engineering the turret here. They have a crew requirement of 3. Is there a crew requirement of lower than that? Yes, this one. This one. Crew performance 133. Crew safety is pretty bad. I'm not sure what they mean by blocked path. Do I have too much crew on here? Do I have a low crew requirement gun? By any chance? Yes. This one. If I can get away with fewer crew members, maybe I can get that crew safety thing up. How are we doing on crew? Mechanic is actually too busy. I got a commander which is too busy. Hold on. Commander, you're going to be doubling as a gunner. Then we got a loader who can double as a mechanic. There. Ooh. That's actually not very good. Why? Overloaded commander. Okay, fine. So if I push you to be a mechanic... mechanic gunner... then the commander can just full-time focus on his task. Now we're getting 135. Crew comm internal is fine. There is still a blocked ports. What? Because we got too many crew members aboard? And crew safety is also pretty bad. Interceptor fuel is making it better. That blocked path is not. Is there any way to make crew safety better here? No. There's just repairability, running gear. Yeah, that doesn't do much. I can give him a T-34 turret, which is only requiring 2 people as well. It's requiring almost 3 times the amount of man-hours, though. That is a bit much. If I go to this one... that MG34 is not in the turret. But I can put it in the turret, so I can push this one out. I can say you're going to get an armored seal here. And let's put the German gun in there. This one only requires 2, but... oh, here we are. Okay. So now we're getting lots and lots of firepower without really using that many expendables. Crew... a bit much. Crew safety and crew awareness is still shit. What if I give them a really big turret? Actually, what about the German turret? No, I would not. What about the German turret? This one. Crew performance, 157. Crew safety, much improved. Crew awareness, much improved. However, that's without a gun. No, I don't want to build a new one. Just pick this one. Woo, firepower hard is going hard. I think we might have a winner here. Get a machine gun on there. Selected crew I think is fine. We could definitely sell this thing. The crew awareness is only 3 points short. We're 11 points short there, but we're only 5 points short overall. And I'm already making that up with firepower hard, and mobility, and weight. Nice. So where can we push? We can push some damage. We can push the needle on damage. We can push the 22 with the shrapnel mine shell. And that's going to give us a 263. These APCRs, I can try and get the highest kinetic value. So I think that would be the 34. Yep, it's the APBC shells. Or the APCRs, but they don't seem to care about range that much. Although, hold on. They do want damage, right? Yes. 263. Yep. And over here we got a 233. We're not doing that. 263. Machine gun. This is not really going to move the needle in any direction. So it doesn't really matter what I pick. And then this one, synthetic oil, tier 3 2. I think this is actually a fairly decent tank. Let's confuse the shit out of people by making it German colored. Yeah. This is the heavy Cromwell German, I guess. It's the German variant of it. I think it's actually a fairly good tank. Man hours, 26,000. Not terrible. Not terrible. Yeah. Let's see if they can actually get this thing to build. I do need the hull to be engineered. And that's going to only take 6 days. Easy. Beautiful. Alright, while the engineers are working on that, we're going to ×5 this thing. A new trophy. One whole new component. A new engine. Fine, I'll get it. Always looking for new parts. Contract accepted. Very good. Alright, we're already cranking out those tanks. We have a couple of tanks in store, including already 2 medium Valentines. I still have some Matildas lying around, 3 Lynxes. So if any of you would like to buy those, I think we can come to a deal. The Cromwell has been engineered. I now need to still engineer the rest, because I'm still looking for that engine, I think. Yep. Resources have arrived. Very good. Let's go to ×10. Research coming up is the cruiser running gear. Oh, that could be useful. Facility upgraded. That's the engineering bureau. I completely forgot to actually upgrade these things. So I still have a bunch of engineers kind of bored out of their minds. And let's make sure that they got something to do. Engineering complete. Very good. Now we're going to go over to design. And let's see if this German Cromwell... It really looks... Yeah. It looks like the red-headed, well, grey-headed stepchild between a Cromwell and a Panzer IV. It's, oh, no! Oh, dear. It was too good to be true, wasn't it? The vehicle mass is 26 tons. I can only have 20 tons. Yes. So I need to have potentially heavier tracks on this, which are capable of carrying a heck of a lot more. Can these things do it? Nope. Can these things do it? Nope. Shit. Do I need that cruiser gear? I think the Erklings can't quite get there. No, they can. They can, actually. So now we're getting a Cromwell with German tracks. Okay. The Sphinx had a construction time of 5,377. This is going to push that up by another 400 hours. God, I hate the German tracks. They're so difficult to make. T-34 tracks would work. Transportability and cross-road speed or cross-country speed are not exactly going to get me any favors here. Leshy has 32 for transportability. What about the Erkling? 37. Oh, we're getting a pretty decent improvement here. I think this might actually be a winner. The Erkling V1. All the way from 1940. Come on, I surely can improve that. Surely. Let's have a look. Engineering. Because if I can make this thing a bit faster cross-country, I think they will appreciate that. Because we're looking for additional cross-country speed. And we're also looking for transportability. Operational range would be a nice benefit, but I'm already way past what I need. So, I'm using a solid idler 1. I can go up to a lightened idler 3. Doesn't really do much. This does for road speed at the expense of operational range. Anything that gives me cross-country speed? No, it's a detriment to road speed there. And I do get operational range from that. 145, 136, 131, 145. Okay, fine, you're staying. Cross-country is not a factor here as much. This is cross-country detractor. This is a cross-country booster, the strong sprocket. And that's going to give me a 162. This is going to give me potentially more. A 145, no. And a 167, I'll take those. And then for the bogey system, I gotta keep in mind that they need to have the capability of, well, carrying quite a lot. Which will probably cut into my cross-country speed. See, it's gonna do a -6. This is also gonna remove a mechanic, which is nice. This is gonna remove 2 mechanics. But I can't carry as much. But that's fine, actually. That's actually fine. 173. 183. Cross-country speed is off the charts with this thing. Road speed isn't great. But I'm actually interested in seeing if this will fit. And if this will be enough to move that tank. I think it will. The tank is still within parameters for weight. We're getting some extremely good cross-country speed. Transportability is only 1 point shy, and operational range is fine. Yeah, so this ought to work. We're good for volume. We are good for vehicle mass. Yeah, so all I need to do now is engineer those Erkling 3s. We're going to just assign those to the engineers and get to work. And meanwhile, I have not... Well, I've completed 19 Matildas by now. There's another contract coming in. I'm not going to do that. But I am going to supply the Dutch. Always supply the Dutch. Now, how about that new tank? Not that one. That's a bit expensive for what they need. The T-34V1. Hold on. Can I just sell them what I already have? Would they be interested in some Matildas? Heavies? Dutch, hello. I got some heavy Matildas lying around. They can be yours. So I can clean up my tank storage. Where are they? Here. They actually they actually don't mind. I can offer them 12 and say, here you go. It's going to do 611k, it's fine. Let's push that to about 450 and submit that. Nice. Okay, we got a new building. I don't think these building animations really add a whole lot. Let's get the power unit upgraded to tier 3. And let's get the turret workshop upgraded to tier 3. Should have done it a while ago, probably. Contract accepted. Well, have I got news for you. Your tanks are here. Let's see. You want them in 10 days. So I cannot use my regular shipping. Because that's these boys, and they tend to always run late. So we're going to go for either these or these. That's going to take 10 days. It's slightly too long. It's going to take 8 days. Or I can take these for 11. I'm going to have to go with these slightly more expensive. Route, I'm afraid. So these boys. Send them out. Goodbye, Matildas. Have a good time on the battlefield. The Dutch are happy with the tanks that they've been given. Italy now wants 62 tanks. And what do they want? Heavy Matilda's okay, I guess. But well, I've gotten a bit spoiled, and I'm not really that interested in a contract that only awards me 3 million. I want to get something a little better. A little better, he says, and clicks the Valentine. The Valentine is not a little better, it's about 10 times better. So I can push the price, I can push that, I can push this, and now we're doing 8 million. That's a little better. That's 22,000 man-hours, with a price tag of about 26k per tank, and I'm selling them for 76. So that's a 3 times markup. That's good stuff. Can I get it slightly cheaper? Because I don't need 1,300 points. The Lynx is too bad. The Lynx howitzer is too bad. This is too bad. This is getting there. This could work. But I think they will not really accept it. Although I am making even more on that tank. I got a 287. Oh, they don't like the V3, that's for sure. The V4 is fine. It's only costing me 20k. I think this is good enough. I'm going to offer them a whole load of V4s. Go. Let's already start preparing the production, because I am expecting that contract to go through, and it's a big one. So let's get a couple of V4s. What's the base V4, right? Yeah, not the V4.1. Okay, so let's start building, I don't know, 25 tanks. We'll sell them to somebody else if they don't want them. It'll be fine. How many Valentines I got? 28. Netherlands want another 60 tanks. Sorry, I'm a little busy at the moment. I can't help you. Let's go to the warehouse, go to the delivery lines, get those Valentines out the door. I can go 30, I can select that. Do I have time? I got plenty time, 94 days. Off you go, boys. And the next shipment should be finished soon. Italy is accepted, much as expected. So I can very easily get that contract done. Yes, of course there's a delay. I'm sorry, I'm too busy doing that. Oh, hold on. I can now get... Our new tank has been revealed. Oh, wow. Yet another M3 Lee. How exciting. Design lines. See, the new Cromwell, that is exciting. The red-headed, grey-headed stepchild between a Panzer IV and a Cromwell, which is going to blow everybody else out of the water. It is slightly expensive, i.e. 50% more expensive than a T-34, but hey, if we can get away with it, fine. Research has completed. We now have access to that new cruiser running gear. I think this is going to come in useful for potentially lighter tanks. It has some pretty decent mobility. It has a very high limit of 36 tons. For that, I'm not really sure that I would go with the Cromwell that well. So, I don't know, maybe for the, the heavy Valentine? Because we are getting the medium Valentine, and I believe later on... yeah, here we got the heavy Cromwell, and here we got the... Oh, the heavy Comet. We are also going to be getting the heavy Cromwell Mark II. And that's pretty much the last tank we're getting. But there is supposedly the IS-2 in this version somewhere. So I'm still very eager to find that. Anyway, for now, I'm going to just skip these simplified turrets. Let's get the modernized turret. Because what I'm eager to put into that turret is this. The high velocity cannons, the Mark II 17-pounder. I already have it researched, but I don't think I've put it into a tank yet. It might not fit in any of the turrets that I'm currently using. Alright, back to production. We are still on track to be building more medium Valentines. That's almost completing. 3, 2, 1, done. And now we need to get that other production line. Let's just take 1, 2... Oh, no. Fire in the production hall. Casualties suffer. That's gonna not really be helpful. 15-day delay. Loan completed. Good. Even though I have a high-end fire department, this still happens. So, 1, done. Warehouse, ship tanks, get money. Sometimes business is that easy. Do we have time? Oh, yes, we got plenty of time. I got 51 days, so we're going to go with the low-end supplier. And in the meanwhile, ship over those, or transfer over those production lines. I was already building 25. They want a whopping 108. So we're going to be doing lots and lots of work on the T-34. That was the V4. Here. They want a whole bunch of those. If I can push those to 2 different production lines, it'll be 117 days, which I do not have. That'll be problematic. 40? 93 days. I might be slightly late. If I'm doing 40, 40, and 25, I'm kind of getting there. Let's do... Well, let's just keep those production lines going. I can always adjust them later. What I'm very interested in is how that Cromwell behaves. There's a new contract for the British for 68 tanks. Look, I can probably supply you with that. I just don't know if I want to, because they all want that V4. Because it's just good enough. They're willing to pay 76k. Not for that, but they are for this. You're going to have to wait until early 1944 to get it. Look at that, 9 million. Great, but I can't really help you. Medium Valentine has a delivery delay. Go figure. Contract 444. Engineers per line upgraded. 9876. Contract completed. There we go. Cha-ching. Done. Okay, in the meanwhile, I can start shipping over some of those T-34s that I have produced. So let's get these boys out of the way. Off you go. Always use the cheapest. And of course they're going to get delayed. There we go. The heavy Cromwell German is ready. Impress me, little one. Oh, actually, let me fix up the designs. Because there are some amendments to be made. Oh, actually, is there a contract that wants that? Oh, come on. Now there's no contract that wants that. Okay, fine. What do they think of this thing? They, for example, they really love the V2 high-tech. They think this is okay, they think this is okay, and they think this is eh. Then again, I didn't build it for this particular role. Oh well. Let me drive that. I want to see how that drives. Because supposedly this thing has off-road performance off the charts. So let's see if she actually delivers on that promise. The Cromkampfwagen 4. Yeah, I'm not really feeling that extreme power that you're supposedly getting from this crossroad or off-road performance. The turret's nice and snappy. The tank feels floaty though. The one time it just almost slides off the track. Look at that. I'm not changing direction. Now I am. I'm not changing direction with this tank. It does that just following the terrain contours. That's pretty impressive for a tank that's what, 26, 27 tons? You'd expect that thing to be a little heavier and be able to sustain terrain such as this. Right now it feels like all tanks kind of drive the same. I'm not really seeing any outliers when it comes to high performance, off-road performance, agility. Like, I haven't really seen a tank break 30 or 40 whatsoever. It's an okay tank. Looks weird, but it's an okay tank. It's just not the off-road speed demon that I had in mind. There we go. Oh, let me just machine gun this thing to death. 2 rounds ought to do it. Bonk. I was already steering the other way. The tank just refused to. I think the tank physics in this game is still a little wonky. What I really dislike about this tank is the high production time. The amount of man hours you need on this thing? Ugh. Not great. Nevertheless, maybe we can find a buyer. Let's see if there's any additional parties interested. A new tank has been unveiled and you have my full attention. The M4 Sherman! Finally, it's here! How about that? And I believe that the Kuvalda Var 1 is the IS-2. What the Germans getting? The Tiger? Yes, now we're getting into the territory where I want to start getting additional tanks. This is going to be excellent business. What are we going to buy it, or who are we going to buy it from? Medium Sherman and a Browning. It's all the same. Alright, let's acquire that. It's only 1.5 million. Next episode's definitely going to be Sherman time. I think the one after that is going to be Tiger time, and the one after that's going to be IS time. Oh, fuck's sake. The warehouse is on fire? I don't think I've ever had that before. That's not particularly helpful in shipping tanks. Where are my tanks gonna go that I'm currently producing? They're still gonna go into the burning warehouse. That's impressive. Don't know how that works, but okay, I'll take it. Anybody interested in a multi... No, yeah. They just want a multi-purpose, but they want to restock. And that means they need to have that particular hull, that particular track. That's not what I want to produce. I want to see if they actually have something interesting. Economical infantry tank is not what I built. Warehouse completed. We've got another 30 T-34s already preparing to ship out. So we might actually make that contract. Good. Okay, let's start shipping these boys out then. It's not the cheapest, because the cheapest already underway. So let's ship with that. 28, economical infantry tank, don't care. T-34 is delivered, good. We have now delivered 90 out of 108. The Dutch want an economical infantry tank. What is the fascination with economical infantry tanks? Why does everybody want those? Ah, research done. Discarding sabot charges. I think that's the high end of firepower. Yes. The discarding sabot shells have an enormous kinetic pen of 48. Their damage is relatively low. But if you got some high armored vehicles, this is definitely the round you want to shoot at it. What else is going to happen? Super quick rounds. A high damage, lower kinetic pen. But if they want damage, this is the shell I'm going to give them. Alright, I'm going to wait for a contract to come up to see if that Cromwell is actually going to be feasible. And once I have it, I'll get back to you. Oh, and for those who want to see this contract get completed, here we are. I have 15 days, so we're not going to make use of the delay service. I'm going to say 29, 22, that's 10 days, off you go. Production lines, halt. Everybody stop. Stop, stop, stop. Good. I still have plenty of supplies. Is there any other contract I can pick up? The heavy infantry tank, they want... I think the Dutch one's most interesting. If I have something that fits. And I do. The medium Val. They want to pay 77 for the pleasure. I'm going to say that's fine. You're going to pay me 8 million for that little piece of engineering. If I can give them a cheaper tank that still fits the role. Don't tell me it's going to be the V4. Okay, fine. It's going to be the V4. Okay, fine. I like money. We're doing that. Start building additional V4s. It's getting a little stale as far as I'm concerned. How many did I pitch? 105. Okay, so it's going to be 30, 30, actually 33. No, 35, 35, 36, 35, 35, 36. Cannot do that because I don't have enough supplies. Should have called those in before. V4, bring the stuff, bring the stuff. Bring all this stuff. Europe. Because I kind of need it on the quick right now. Actually, regarding those designs, I do want to get... Yeah, I want to get the ability to make all sorts of monsters. So, I'm going to go into the Espionage Center and also pick up the Tiger. And the IS. So I can start sort of crossbreeding those into something gorgeous and hideous. And for the completionists, contract complete. 28th Battalion is now happy with their new tanks. Excellent. The Dutch have accepted my contract for 105 tanks of the T-34, so that is working out. Unfortunately, still nobody very interested in getting my units. Getting that Cromkampfwagen. Alright, production. I want to go with that 36 V4 type. 84 days. We got plenty. We got 50 days to spare. Not a problem. Hold on. Do I have enough people on the line? Maxing out 575. Crap. I need an admin. Without an additional administrator, I probably cannot... Yeah, I can't hire anybody. Because nobody likes me enough to give me another administrator. Okay, fine. Well, I'm not sure the Cromwell is going to be selling anytime soon. Economical infantry tank, so we'll just have to start working on something else instead. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon for the construction, or rather perhaps the deconstruction of the M4, the Tiger, and the IS in the upcoming episodes. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon for more.